Spidey's stashing something up his sleeve. Here's your look at the Hasbro Marvel Studios Spider-Man Mystery Web Gear Iron Spider. Spider-Man gears up in his Iron Spider integration suit to fight evil and defeat villains everywhere. Before we get a closer look at Iron Spider-Man, even though it doesn't really say it on the packaging, at least it says something along those lines on the back read-up of the packaging. Before, of course, we get a closer look at Spidey, how about the first thing we do is figure out how tall the figure stands. I'm going to grab my ruler, put it right next to the figure's head, give or take, and the figure stands around 5.5 inches in height, or about 14 centimeters tall. Then we can go ahead and move Iron Spider over, free up a little bit of space next to him, and bring in the original Spider-Man that we had a look at. For some strange reason, is it just my eyes playing tricks on me, but doesn't Iron Spider seem a little bit smaller than the original Spider-Man that we looked at before? Literally by like, I don't know, a third of a head shorter. You would think that they would have used the same sized body for both the figures, and yet, funny enough, when looking at it, so strange. Iron Spider's so much shorter than the original Spider-Man. Why would they have done that? Anyways, Tiny Spidey comes included with one accessory that you can see, and once again, one accessory that sort of plays hide-and-go-seek. It's not really a good player either. I'm going to bring in the packaging once again, just to show you guys this packaging that the figure comes included with. You can see Mystery Web Gear. Earlier, I had said when we looked at the Spider-Man that you can kind of peek down here. You don't even have to do that. If you look just to the side, the question marks actually tell you where you're supposed to look. And if you look down in here, this is where the secondary accessory is. It's very easy. Again, I would have thought that they would have put it in a blind black bag or something to conceal its identity until you actually open up the packaging. But no, it's there, and it's in the tray. But let's first have a look at the primary weapon that he comes included with. An energy effect that can attach to his forearm. I know it looks a bit like a chocolate fondue in our explosion. It's interesting. It's nicely sculpted. And once again, it's not permanently attached to the figure, so if you wanted to leave it off completely, you can. I mean, obviously adding things on this, mentioning already in the earlier review, it makes Spider-Man very top-heavy. Again, it can clip onto his forearm. It doesn't really matter which side you're going to go with. Let's attach it on this side. And yeah, I mean, it clips on pretty good. But the moment you extend out his arm, it's going to make the figure extremely front-heavy. You can see what I mean right there. At least one good thing is the figure does have universal peg holes in the bottoms of his feet. So if you did have yourself a display stand, which I so did happen to use at the beginning of this review, you can do that, and that's going to certainly keep Spidey from falling over. Sorry, what's that? What's the other accessory? I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for following the script, by the way. The other accessory, not that I really needed to remove that one, the other thing he came included with was the Spider-Man vest. That's a sharp-looking vest, made of still the same translucent yellow plastic. It's sort of the color of honey. This clips over top of his existing torso. I will say, though, when you are putting it around him, just be careful. You sort of really want to pry them away, pry like the prongs away, so you snap it over top of his body. If you just force it down, I feel like these are just going to snap right off, because, again, they're just translucent plastic. I guess it sort of gives him an armor. It's not totally lame. I wonder if you can actually take it, and I'm going to try putting it on his back. Give him a Spider-Man backpack. Yeah, that works, too, if you want to do that. And then to fully finish things off, I'm going to go ahead and put this back onto his front torso. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the fondue fountain. Going to snap that onto his arm. That's what Spider-Man looks like with all his accessories jazzed out on the figure. It's okay, you know, for what it is. We can also take Spider-Man's spaghetti arm that came included with the other figure, and we can attach onto the figure. You can sort of see how excessive things get the more we add on to Iron Spider here. Again, this was the mystery accessory that came included with the other Spider-Man that we looked at earlier. I don't know if each of the figures are going to have a designated accessory or whether they are actually randomized. Like if you do pick up all 4 of the Spider-Man from the first wave, because I think there's only 4 figures. There's the one that's in the black costume, and then there's also Marvel's Mysterio. I wonder if they actually do have designated accessories that come included with it. So there really isn't a random selection where if you grab two different figures, you're going to get the same accessories. I'm just extending out my opinions of it. I don't know whether that's actually right or not. Anyways, let's go ahead and just take these accessories out of his hand. Just remove those like that. Oh, by the way, as well, this was the one that came included with the original Spider-Man. I said it was good for churning, maybe like pudding, but it actually looks like the top of a bread maker. Like one of those big industrial bread makers that you see in bakeries for spinning around, you know, the big bread batter. I've spent so much time talking about this. Let's go ahead and remove this from Spider-Man. Overlooking once again that the figure seems a bit on the small side. We're going to bring in the original one. Even like the heads, maybe it's, well, looking at the bodies, let's put the bodies next to each other. I can't even say, no, it's not that. It's not even the fact that the bodies are the same size and the head is just shrunk down. They have literally made shorter shoulders on Spider-Man. He's got a shorter torso, or maybe possibly, it looks like he's also got shorter legs. Why would they have made the figure so considerably smaller when it's supposed to be the same character? Anyways, well, I did like this one. This was nice for a classic costume Spider-Man. This one, of course, is him from the, wearing the Iron Spider suits. It would have been fun, actually, if they had included a part that could have gone onto his back that replicates those Iron Spider legs, instead of actually giving him like a vest, for example. Anyways, the detailing on the figure is pretty good, despite for the fact he's got a smaller head. Once again, it looks like they're using red plastic here, and then everything else down below here is painted in plastic. So once again, like the reds don't quite jive the way that they probably should jive. I guess they probably could have easily done red plastic for the body and painted in then all the additional parts of the body in the different colors. But that probably would have, considering looking at the body that I'm guessing most of the color of the plastic was probably this color here. And then they've gone in there and painted the boots, right? Painted the gold on the gauntlets, painted the gold on the back of his torso, and repeated and rinsed on the front there as well. I mean, the gold is nice. It does look good. It looks a little on the blurry side. Don't adjust your sets if this is where you're watching these reviews. It does seem like it's a bit on the blurry side. I don't know why, for some reason, it doesn't look as sharp as it does. Maybe it's the fact that the coloring that they went with for the plastic isn't quite a solid black. It kind of has like an off greenish black coloring to it. Again, I like the head sculpt, but I don't know why, again, the head had to be so much smaller than the one that we got before. For the articulation on Spider-Man, the head rotates all the way around on a ball joint. It goes up, it goes down, and moderately, it can move back and forth. You can also move the arms out. Now, normally, if this was just a basic class figure, it would have 5 points of articulation. Head swivel here, swiveled arms, swiveled legs. And while the legs are unfortunately still relegated to just the swivels, there's no knee articulation, there's no thigh articulation, at least you can actually bring the arms outward. So that's something. Arms also rotate all the way around. That's the same, of course, on both sides. And there's also a bend at the elbow on both the arms. And you can also rotate the forearms as well. There's no wrist articulation, just in case you are curious. Not a bad looking Spider-Man. I'm not a really big fan of the Iron Spider suit in the movie. I kind of wish it could have been an all-red suit like he would have had in the comics, but still, for what it is, he's got a different suit in the movie. He actually has a couple of different suits in the movie, if you have seen Spider-Man No Way Home. Please don't spoil it for those that haven't. But it's actually a good-looking figure. Still, though, perplexes me as to why the figure had to be so small in the first place. Why, literally, wouldn't they have just used the same body? Now, yeah, they would have had to resculpt the aspects that make up the Iron Spider suit, but still, why wouldn't they have made the same body, or same sized body? Because clearly when you put them together, it looks like it's regular Spider-Man, and then his younger, smaller brother wanting to hang out with him fighting crime. Despite Spidey's shortcomings, the figure actually turned out to be pretty good. If you like those basic class movie tie-in figures that they always release to get the kids interested in buying the new toys, then yeah, it's not a bad looking Spider-Man. It does have the mystery web gear, which isn't so much of a mystery. You can just literally look to the side of the packaging to know that he's got himself an energy vest. That's a sharp looking vest, Iron Spider. You know, speaking of Iron Spider, once again, it's only very quickly rushed through on the back of the packaging in the read-up, where it says his Iron Spider integration suit. That's the only sign, the only indication to know which character this is. I don't know why they wouldn't have just printed it on the front of the packaging, Iron Spider suit. Now, you would think to yourself, well, wait a minute, they would have to have used the same packaging with all of them. No, it's a different picture on the back, and it's a different read-up. So if they're going to go that extra mile to do all the extra work on the back of the packaging, then why wouldn't they have put the character's name on the front of the packaging as well? I draw the attention once again to poor Nana that has to go around shopping for Billy's Christmas presents. She's not going to have any idea. I mean, you would have to describe to her, I want the Spider-Man that has the gold emblem on his chest. If you say Iron Spider, there's nothing to be mentioned on the front of the packaging to actually tell you that this is the Iron Spider. I don't know. I don't know why Hasbro would have done that. But still a decent enough looking figure. What do you guys think of the Iron Spider from the new Marvel Studios Spider-Man, which doesn't actually say No Way Home anywhere on the packaging either? I don't know what was going on with this packaging. But let me know what you guys think of the figure down below in the comments section, please and thank you. And as well, if you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell notification, and keep your peepers peeled because we are going to be looking at more Marvel Studios Spider-Man reviews in the not-so-distant future. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.